What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is the first time my mass audience is going to see me on webcam, but those of you who are my channel members have already seen some webcam shenanigans. It's just because, you know what, all the celebrities are joining YouTube and just filming on their webcams, and it's still so fun and engaging, and it feels more I don't know, intimate, one-on-one. It's a cool, organic, nostalgic kind of feel. I wanted to do a video for you guys about the Q&A video that Jenelle Evans put on her YouTube channel. A lot of you guys have been tagging me, asking for my opinions on it, so I decided, you know what, I scoured the internet for news about people that I actually want to cover, but unfortunately with this virus, no one is really up to much of anything. By the way, you guys, how are you holding up? And especially those of you who live alone. I'm really worried for my friends who live by themselves, so I'm sending them URLs so that we could co-work together and just be in this thing together, because it's gonna be tough to be completely by yourself for months on end. So if you're completely by yourself, right now in this crisis, definitely let me know down below how you are holding up, and I wish you the best. With that being said, let's jump into the story about Jenelle Evans's YouTube Q&A and what exactly she did wind up telling us about herself. The first thing that I noticed when I was looking at her video was how unflattering the background was. It's literally the exact same color as her skin. It looked as if she was blending right into it. One of the first statements that she says in her video is that she wants her mom, Barbara, to give her custody of Jace so that she doesn't have to take her mom to court, as if that would be doing Barbara a favor and not Jenelle in her own pockets, because it is a very lost cause. I don't even understand why this case was not something that was dismissed with prejudice the last time that Barbara won, because it's kind of traumatic for Jace to keep having to go through this just so that Jenelle could pretend on the internet that she's interested in being any kind of a parent. She also admits that she's back together with David, but we already knew that, so it wasn't a revelation of any kind. And then, when it comes to why she's not only together with him but back living with him, she said that it's because she could not afford to keep two homes. I feel like I'm gonna get dragged for this, and I admit that I'm quite out of touch, but $2,700 for two homes is not bad at all. In my market, that is a freaking steal and a half, man. And then completely unprompted, she says that David has never abused her or the children, which directly contradicts the statement that she wrote in order to get a restraining order against him. Now, obviously, the courts are way too busy, overwhelmed, to even be bothered with this, especially considering David himself is not going to pursue the false claim against her, or maybe he will down the line. You really never know. If any of you guys know, sorry, if any of you guys know the statute of limitations, because let's face it, these two are going to fall out yet again. It's inevitable. And so, not if, but when they fall out again, do you think that this is something that David is going to use against her the next time she tries to claim that he's been abusing her? I personally think so. And the saddest thing about that is that, yes, it probably is true that he has abused her and the children. So the fact that she's up there the second time now, claiming that it never happened, that is going to come back to bite her in the ass when they do break up again. And I'm sure that David has already screen recorded her saying that and has put it on 10 different backup files to use in the future. In terms of her past and future on television, Jenelle did have a couple of things to say. First of all, she was upset with MTV for not firing Amber after firing her. She was like, well, I didn't really technically do anything, guys, which is true. When MTV fired her, it was because David had shot the family dog, not because of anything that Jenelle had done. That's not to say that she never deserved to get fired, because there were plenty of reasons and opportunities to fire her that MTV did not take. So when they ultimately did fire her, it was kind of too little too late. So she does have that excuse of what the heck did I get fired for? I didn't really do anything. This chick swung a machete at her ex-boyfriend and her child, and she's still there, which is a very fair argument to make. Sorry, that's my boss. She also finally says that she will never be appearing on Teen Mom ever again, which is good. And actually 2 days from now, her contract with MTV actually expires, and then we'll get to see what it is that she's going to be doing. Jenelle hints that it's going to be another video project but that she's not sure whether it's going to be online or on television. My guess is that it's going to be online, maybe like, you know, Black China and her mom have that, like those shows with like the Zeus network. I kind of feel like something similar to that. I obviously don't believe that it's going to be the Zeus network just because like they go for a different demographic of reality stars, but I feel like it'll be something along that level. Something that was a little bit funny about her Q&A was when someone asked her like, Jenelle, do you really not know how to survive being single? Like in all of the years that we've seen you, like you started on this show at 16 years old, you've never truly been single. And Jenelle doesn't deny it at all. She's like, you know what? You're right. I'm not very good at being single. In fact, I can't even remember when I was last single. And yeah, I was like, you know what? I like people who can tell the truth about themselves. So I was glad to see her kind of admit to that, though she doesn't exactly see it as any kind of an issue, which I think is the problem and why she ends up in these sorts of relationships. And speaking of a little bit delusional, someone asked her, like, Jenelle, how do you feel about the fact that every time a sponsor hires you to promote something, you get fired because the internet doesn't like you, like America doesn't like you, the world doesn't like you, or whatever? And this is what Jenelle has to say. She's like, first of all, I'm not getting fired from these things. I am just taking down the sponsored posts because the sponsors kindly inbox me and ask me to do so. Well, that kind of sounds like you're being fired, sis, and they don't want to be associated with you. So it was just interesting to see her kind of try to spin that rather than just tell the truth. Like, yeah, you guys are dragging my ass. I am not able to make any money on Instagram or anything like that because you follow me around everywhere and write to everyone who tries to sponsor me. But I do have other projects lined up, so I'm going to be fine. Like, my pockets are still lined, or, you know, whatever it might be. But she did not do any of that, which is quite interesting. Anyway, you guys, that is a recap of like the highlights of Jenelle's Q&A session. Outside of that, I don't know, how are you holding up? Like, I know I asked at the beginning for like people who live alone how they're holding up, but the rest of you guys, like, anything exciting? How are you guys kind of like staying in touch with friends, like outside of just texting? My friends and I do that Netflix party thing. We're doing that again tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm doing a virtual happy hour with another friend. I have not drank since I got here, and I just need like a glass of rosé or something like that just to like calm the nerves. Like, my nerves are shot to SHIT just like being here, because I'm not allowed to leave the house, period, not even to grocery shop or anything like that until next Monday. It'll have been 14 days since I arrived. So yeah, like I'm just on edge, and I just want to like relax and unwind, and that is exactly what I'm going to be doing tonight. And I think I'm gonna open up some virtual co-working with some of my channel members as well. Like, you know, guys, let's all work alongside, alone, together, or whatever. Let me know how you're doing. This coronavirus really is a buzzkill. Like, it is such a struggle to get up and get dressed because you're just like, when is the end? When is this gonna end? Like, is the end in sight anytime soon? I sure as hell hope so. The whole thing is just so freaking depressing. Like, going through the visa process to get a 1-year visa, and I don't even know how much of this 1-year visa I'm gonna be able to use now that this virus is just wreaking havoc on our lives. Then I've got the apartment sitting there that I'm still paying for, and it's painful to pay all that money to not be able to use it. Like, man, I really, really, really don't know what's going on. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Hang in there.